These are 5 shocking misconceptions about moving to the Philippines that no one talks about. Moving to the Philippines isn't what you think it is. It's just a new world for you. It's better in some ways, worse in others, and wildly misunderstood by many. You have seen the Instagram pictures, the white sand beaches, the YouTube vlogs, all the creators that create these wonderful videos, and these glossy tour guides. But are you ready for the truth? Buckle up, because today, I am going to challenge everything you know about the Philippines. And I guarantee you, if you stay till the end of the video, I will surprise you.
Hey everyone, let's get one thing straight. I am not here to talk shit about the Philippines, or America for that matter. I am here to tell you the realistic point of view that I have been facing here in the Philippines, and many other expats or Filipino Americans out there right now. So, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because my point is, I'm here to show you what life has been for me and all the great things that Philippines has given me, while understanding the culture, the atmosphere, everything here that Philippines has to offer. Back to the video.
Hey everyone, this is Gil. Thank you for those of you returning, but if you're new around here, I am living in Cebu City, Philippines. I have been doing business here for a while. Currently at the moment, I am an executive at a startup company. I am also a business consultant as well. This is my email. You can reach out and hit the link to my Calendly right down below in the description. Let's go with misconception number 1. It's cheap and easy living. Have you heard, living in the Philippines, I live like a king? Sound familiar? Let me tell you about Alex. Alex sold his house and all his belongings in Texas, thinking that his savings and everything he can gather up would last here forever in the Philippines. He rented a beachfront condo, installed air conditioning in every room, and shopped exclusively at high-end stores. 6 months later, his savings were gone. And now Alex was scrambling to find work as an English tutor online. Yes, things are cheaper here, like rent, local produce, and even transportation. But what most people don't tell you is the hidden cost of comfort. Electricity bills skyrocket here during the hot season. Imported goods might have you asking, do I really need to fulfill this craving? And whatever that is that you're wanting that's imported into the Philippines. And for the most part, the cost of healthcare is not insured. The Philippines is affordable, but it's not a free ride. If you are not smart with your spending, this paradise can turn into a nightmare. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, everything under the sun. And I know people out there are going to be, no, I've done it with this budget, I've done it with that budget. For those of you, you're the smart ones. But unfortunately, some human beings are not that smart. Something gets the best of them, whether it's their emotions, whether it's something. Comment down below if you know anyone like Alex who lost everything here in the Philippines. Misconception number 2, you will feel instantly at home because of the culture. Now let's talk about feeling at home. I knew a guy named Mike. He was a Filipino American, born and raised in Chicago. When he moved to the Philippines, he thought, finally, I'll be surrounded by my people. And me being Filipino American, I felt the same way. I was like, these people get me. These are my people. But every time he would open his mouth, people would chuckle, people would laugh, because due to his accent, nosebleed, and all those things, which I face that as well. But I have, it is what it is at the end of the day. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Here is the truth for you Filipino Americans. You might share the heritage, but in many degrees, you do not share the culture. It just sometimes, unfortunately, although we are Filipinos, some people will not view you as the same. A lot of local Filipinos, I don't know if they see this or I don't know. Filipinos have a very complex relationship with Filipino Americans. When I say Filipino Americans, this encompasses Europe too, and other countries outside of the Philippines. But unfortunately, they'll just call you Filipino that day. So sometimes, not all the times obviously, relationships are layered with obligations here in the Philippines. If you're not ready to navigate through that and be really good at conflict resolution, you might have a problem coming here to the Philippines. You know, Mike once got invited to a family gathering, and unfortunately, he was expected to pay for the lechon for that day. So obviously, any time that you have to, you know, stand your ground, you're gonna come off rude, whether it's intended or not. Unfortunately, as well. Sometimes you might feel more of a stranger in your mother country than in the U.S. I would love to hear your stories of these happenings, these obligations. Comment down below. Misconception number 3, and this is one I hear all the time and I have to stand by it and protect it. The Philippines is unsafe. This one, like I said, this one gets repeated like a broken record, especially like when I meet Americans who've never even left America to explore outside of America, which is really odd to me. I hear it's too dangerous to live in the Philippines. Don't go there. Are they going to eat you? Be careful. You're going to get kidnapped. You know, all the other bad things. And you're going to be around so much crime. Are they going like, I don't know, dude. I just don't know. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's a lone traveler from New York. You know, when she told her friends that she was moving to the Philippines, especially Mindanao, she almost canceled her plans, but inevitably she pushed through. So when Sarah was here in the Philippines one night in a rural town, her phone battery died. And what do you think is gonna happen? She started panicking. You know, and then a group of locals approached her, and it was like one of those vertigo things. Boom, her heart sank because of the stories that she was hearing. But instead of harm, she was offered food, water, a backup charger, one of those portable chargers, and even a ride back to the hotel that she stayed at. Now, don't get me wrong, the Philippines is not without its dangers like any part of the world. Trust me, I'm from New York, right? But I do gotta tell you one thing. The kindness of strangers here is unmatched. The hospitality here is amazing. But that goes without saying. If you are smart, aware, and respectful, it's just something out of fear and not factual. Like when I first moved to Davao, people were telling me like, oh no, you're moving to Mindanao, it's like a no-go zone. But with them not really understanding how Davao is. And Davao is pretty safe. I can tell you that right now without going to details, it's pretty safe. Misconception number 4. Everyone speaks English and the communication is very easy. You know, when I speak to Filipinos, whether they're you know, Balikbayans or they you know, OFWs, or they moved to America, and or Filipino Americans who were raised in America like me, everyone usually says that to a great degree, everyone speaks English and communication is easy there. So for me, sometimes this is a 50-50. Depending on the region you're in, I find that, and people from Manila, don't get upset at me. I find that people in the Visayas area, especially Cebu, are a bit more fluent in English. But let me tell you about John, a teacher from California. He moved to Davao thinking that his English skills would be enough. But when he tried to buy fresh fish from the local market, the vendors started speaking broken English. He couldn't understand, understandably, and it was a struggle, especially the fact that John wanted to haggle on the price. So he couldn't negotiate. So the vendor chuckled and gave him the fish. Honestly, if you're in the city areas, many of the younger people, as well as some older people, will have a general understanding of speaking English. However, if you go into the rural areas, you might have a hard time, to be honest with you. Because here's the thing. Yes, most Filipinos speak English, most, but it's a formal version of what's taught in school. It's similar to like in reverse, like me, Cebuano, I don't really know the slangs and then, you know, the shortcuts and things like that. I can speak more like basic Cebuano. So it's somewhat hard for me to interact with people in a more authentic way, as if like I speak with my American friends and, you know, like especially my brother. At the end of the day, English is spoken in the schools and they watch TV. However, it's an everyday thing that most people are speaking one of the 175 dialects, but generally speaking, Tagalog, Cebuano, Ilocano, and all of those languages have nuances that English cannot capture, unfortunately. So if you don't learn some at least local phrases, you might not have that cohesion that you're looking for when you move to the Philippines. And finally, misconception number 5. Moving to the Philippines will fix my life. Let me introduce you to Lisa, which it could be anyone. Just interchange Lisa with you maybe in your life right now as a working individual. Lisa was burnt out at her corporate job, like many of us sometimes, you know, it happens. She thought that a tropical life would cure all her stress. But when she got here, she felt way more alone than she ever was. So, you know, and this is something that happened to me because I'm from New York, everything's so fast paced. The slow pace really got her to thinking what she left behind. So essentially her anxiety never left. It just followed her to a different time zone. And I want to share another story with you. I was interacting with this guy from Canada. I honestly forgot his name. So we were talking through the channel for months, and he inevitably decided to uproot his family in Canada and moved here to the Philippines. Especially, he went to Dumaguete. Unfortunately, I wasn't there in Dumaguete that day because I would have welcomed him and stuff like that. But literally a day in, he was so overwhelmed with, you know, with what was happening, or, you know, just, it was such a contrast to what he's used to, you know, traveling, his wife is stressed, his kids are crying. He literally left the same day. That's how fast it was for him. So there's a lesson learned to be here, and I hope it doesn't happen to you. So, like, Philippines is not a reset button. And maybe, I mean, in hindsight, maybe it is if you have everything situated as well. But generally speaking, don't treat it as a reset button. If you are unhappy in your home country, unfortunately, you're going to carry that baggage around. And I've seen it with many expats. This is something I have a problem with expats as well. They try to bring the American mindset in a Philippine setting. Sometimes it just won't work, you know. The Philippines can offer a fresh perspective, but what it can't do is erase your problems. That right there is on you at the end of the day. Now, I want you to ask yourself, why are you thinking of moving to the Philippines? Just ponder on that. Are you chasing a dream or running from something? Because the truth is, the country here, or any country for that matter, is not here to save you. It is here, though, to challenge you, test your patience, your adaptability, and your willingness to ultimately grow. But if you're ready to face those challenges, it can be life-changing. So, are you ready for this reality here in the Philippines? Or are you clinging to a fantasy? The choice, my friends, is yours. So in conclusion, if these stories struck a nerve with you, that ultimately means you're paying attention, and I appreciate it. And if you can, subscribe to the channel because it's free and it'll help the channel a lot. And like the video. And more importantly, stick around as I make more videos. I uncover real life here in the Philippines for someone who's still working, makes a decent amount of money, and still really hasn't adjusted spending wise or just life wise from my life in the West, or in Western, in America, and in the Philippines. And trust me, the next few videos hopefully will hit closer to home and give you more clarity why you want to move to the Philippines and enjoy life like I do with my family here. So for those of you entrepreneurs that want to do business here and you have some ideas you want to talk about, brainstorm, this is my email. You can also book time with me. The link is in the description. And if you are a point of life where you want a life coach, an accountability coach, kind of like assess your life and help you, I'll be more than happy to do that as well. So take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. And if you like this video, which I hope you did, click on this video. Bye.